Women. How many of you have read Lean In? Okay, this is a scandal. Lean In is the most important career book written in a generation. So I think everyone should read it. All men should read it. All women should read it. Everyone who works in an organization should read it. Lean In is a bestseller for a reason. It's a very important book, and Sheryl Sandberg is a genius. She's wrong about a couple of things, but she's right about so much that it doesn't matter what she's wrong about. But one of the things she talks about in that book is that a woman who stridently protects her interests can sometimes come across as strident. When a man aggressively protects his interests, people think, well, you know, he's a player. And a woman can be strident. Strident is bad, player is good. So how does a woman work around that? There's language that women can use that causes them to not seem strident and achieves the goal. Okay? So what do? You actually negotiate on behalf of some other entity. Your family or all women. You want to see that slide? Just say yes.
Yes.
Who has these answers? Read these really fast. Oh. Who cares? That's just boring. Women have the same response to negotiating attempts that men do, with the exception of what's called an accommodating style of negotiations. Accommodating, you basically say, I'm not going to actually push for my interest. I'm negotiating, but I don't mean it. That's accommodating. So what language works? This language here works. Courtney, I'm going to make an offer to you that seems low, because it is low. And I want you to give the quote there. Courtney, 42.
I've read that a major cause of the gender-based wage gap is that women don't negotiate for salary as often as men. So because I want to do my part to reduce this social problem, I guess I have to force myself to ask, can you raise this base? Would you give me the same base as a man who negotiated hard for the maximum?
Well, when you put it that way, I could go to 47. Now, I want you to say, what is the most that you gave to a man last year? I want you to ask that, just like that.
What is the most salary that you gave to a man last year?
51. Now, I want you to say, what's the difference between me and him?
So what's the difference between me and him?
None. You're a rank higher than he is. I'm embarrassed. You can have 51.
Is there any room?
Give her a hand. That's Okay, so here's a few things you'll run into. When you're filling out a form, it may say, what salary are you after, or what salary did you make in the past? Skip it. Increasingly, they won't let you skip it. Then pick the bottom dollar. Okay, so if the bottom dollar is $10,000, you check that box. Okay, and if they ask why, just say, well, I didn't want to give you the information. I couldn't find a way to get past that screen. Just tell them. Okay, you do not have to play an adversary's game. You can play your game and still be in the game. Okay. All right. Next version of that. Any kind of an advertisement that says applications without salary history will not be considered. Don't respond to that. You apply for the position, ignore the thing that requests for the salary history. If they don't like you, they don't like you. If they like you, they like you. If they really don't consider anyone without salary history, then you don't want to work there, A. B, some companies do this in order to generate salary comps. It's a comp analyst trick. There's not even a position there. Do you know how many hours people work in order to send 385 resumes to a company? Think of that. When a company makes a posting and 385 people apply, and they make a resume and a cover letter, how many hours is that? That's like 6 months of work. Okay? So if they say salary history or you're not going to be considered, do not apply for that position or ignore that request. I have to fight some people because they'll apply and they don't get a call and I think it's because they didn't give their salary history. You guys, 384 people didn't get a call either. Am I making my point? Okay, so don't overanalyze this. I already told you what to do if you accidentally blurt out a low ball. We don't negotiate. You always say this, Great, you don't negotiate, I understand. Under what circumstances in the past have you changed the numbers? I did this with an iBanking guy. He told me, we don't negotiate. And I said, okay, great. Under what circumstances in the past have you changed the numbers? He said, when a counter offer comes in from another bank that's higher. I said, great, you just told me what I need to do to negotiate with you. Thanks, I appreciate it. You wouldn't? Okay. All right, what else do we have? A really big lowball, okay? I don't think I can get Courtney for 42, but I'm gonna throw it at her. So this is what she should say. Gosh, Don, been interesting to come to these meetings. We're so far apart, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get there. You know, I'm one of the top people in my class, and 42 is pretty low. But I know some people in the class that are not too sharp. I can give you their names. Because it looks like that's where you are. Did you have a question?
I did. So a lot of companies, they'll pay for students, or not students, but once you get hired, they'll pay for your graduate school.
Yeah.
What's a good way to ask or negotiate that?
Okay, this used to be a really troubling question, but it's not anymore. You guys, if your employer will pay for a graduate degree, that's a benefit you should take advantage of. The data are unbelievable. If you want to make money, go to grad school. That's where money comes from. I collect research on things that increase or decrease your income. And my favorite one is looks. If you are good looking, it improves your income. But if you're drop dead gorgeous, it actually drops your income. So I have always been really careful not to slip over into gorgeous. You know, I just want to be as good as I don't want to go all the way. So I watch for that. But if they will pay for you to go to grad school, you should take advantage of it. It used to, it was a radioactive question because it meant you were going to leave in 2 to 3 years. But now, there's all these deals, I don't know what the arrangements, I should call it. Universities come to the campus. So this, on the West Coast, this happens. You can work at Google, you don't leave Google. You go downstairs to room 17B, and the faculty member comes, and you can get a master's in engineering, a master's in management, an MBA, executive MBA. University of San Francisco has a Saturday executive MBA. So it's okay to ask this. So somewhere after you ask about the 90 days, then you say, you know, love this company, I see myself long term, and of course, long term to be effective, I'm going to need a graduate degree, so can you help me understand the education benefits of the company? Now, I will give you all a warning. Read those benefits carefully, because they often have a 2 to 5 year period afterwards. If you leave the company, you have to pay that back. I just talked to a guy who was in this really weird situation. If they fired him, he had to pay it back. If he laid him off, he didn't have to pay it back, but he wanted to leave. I said, wow, you're in a bind. So it is something to watch out for.